One of the big takeaways is that the idea, not just of India, but the idea of Nehru itself needs to be defended. Needs to be defended from its old critics, from its new critics, and it has to be reinterpreted for a changing India. We all live in the shadow of Nehru. Many of us have assimilated Nehru, and many of us contest Nehru. And even those who contest Nehru cannot run away from the shadow of Nehru. In 2014, my friend Manoj Jha spoke of 2014 as a turning point as far as the Nehruvian legacy is concerned. It's in many ways, after 2014, the story is one of governance through maximum criticism of Nehru. In fact, today, I'm just coming from Parliament, and we passed a bill, and it was a bill called the Boilers Bill. I mean, you won't even know what this Boilers Bill is all about. You know, it's a bill to regulate boilers which generates steam in factories. And Nehru figured in this debate. I was amazed that the minister could somehow justify the bill on the grounds that this was not done during the Nehruvian era. This was a Nehruvian fault. Earlier, of course, we had a statement by the External Affairs Minister on the agreement that was signed last month or in October between India and China. And it reflects the difference between the Nehruvian era and today, that in November, in the last week of October 1962, when the first phase of the Chinese invasion was over, on the 28th of October, 7 members of Parliament write to the Prime Minister asking for a special session of both houses to discuss the crisis on our borders. And the Prime Minister replies to these MPs. One of the MPs was Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and he advances the Parliament session. The Parliament session was supposed to begin on the 13th of November. It actually begins on the 7th of November, 1962, and it goes through the second phase of the Chinese invasion. The Chinese are invading. The second phase starts on the 14th of November. Parliament is in session. The Prime Minister is listening to members of Parliament belonging to different political parties bitterly attack him and the former Defense Minister. The Defense Minister had resigned by then. And this was when the Chinese invasion was actually going on. And today, we had the extraordinary spectacle of the Foreign Minister reading an 8-page statement on the border situation with China, with no political party being allowed to raise a single question or a clarification from the minister, or seek a clarification from the minister. When the minister was, when the people concerned were reminded about it, all the response that they could come up with, "Oh, Nehru ka zamana tha." So even there, they had to recall the memory of Nehru. But I must tell you that there are, in this population of those who contest his legacy, there are, of course, the Kattar rejectors, and there are those who are still ambivalent, and those who accept certain aspects of the Nehruvian legacy while questioning some aspects. And it's quite extraordinary. We tend to paint the entire right-wing ecosystem as anti-Nehru, but actually my experience is there are large sections in the right-wing ecosystem who are actually ambivalent about Nehru. And if you push them a little, they will say, yes, but this is right. And they'll say, yes, this was demanded at that time. This was the context in which these decisions were taken. So people, are willing to admit that even those who are his critics, when push comes to shove, are willing to accept the fact that Nehru faced extraordinary challenges because of the period in which he lived and worked, and the responses that came about at that time were perhaps relevant or the only ones available to him in the 40s and the 50s and the early 60s.